Chloe despised the wedding dress. It was silk, pristine, and cost more than her family had earned in 5 years. She was marrying Arthur, a man she had met exactly once, a man who, despite his immense wealth, could not see her. "Just think of the life you're getting," her mother had whispered, adjusting the veil. "A mansion, freedom, and enough money to lift us out of poverty forever. His sight is temporary. The money isn't." Chloe nodded, but her heart was a knot of resentment. Her real desire was Mark, her charismatic but shiftless boyfriend, who had offered passion but no future. Arthur offered security, and for her parents, it was a debt settled. Arthur, a man in his late 30s with a gentle voice and a calm demeanor, listened patiently to her silence. His world was darkness, guided by the efficient hands of his male nurse and secretary, Tom. On their wedding night, in the sprawling, silent mansion, Chloe found herself standing before Arthur's bed. He reached out, his hand gently exploring the air where he thought her face was. Chloe flinched, pulling back. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. I just need a minute. I'm exhausted." She slipped out and found Maria, the young, desperate maid whose child needed expensive medical care. Chloe pressed a heavy gold bracelet, part of her dowry, into Maria's palm. "You need money for your daughter, right?" Chloe whispered. "Go to the master bedroom. He can't see you. Tell him you're me. Stay until morning. No one will ever know. You'll have enough to save your daughter." Maria, horrified but cornered by desperation, ultimately agreed. Chloe had Arthur right where she wanted him, dependent and blind. But Mark was still outside. She needed him in the house. The biggest obstacle was Tom, the male nurse. Tom was Arthur's eyes, ears, and loyal sentinel. He would never let Mark near his boss. A month after the wedding, Chloe put her plan in motion. She lured Tom into the library late one night, claiming she needed help finding medication. As soon as he was inside, she began screaming. Arthur rushed in, guided only by the sound of her distress. "What is it, Chloe? What happened?" he asked, panic in his voice. "Tom. He tried to corner me," she sobbed, fabricating the story easily. "He thought because you can't see he could." Tom was devastated. "Sir, no. That's a lie. I have served you for years." Arthur, heartbroken and relying solely on the word of his new wife, dismissed Tom immediately. "Pack your bags." Arthur's voice was hollow. "I trusted you." The path was clear. Chloe consoled Arthur with false tenderness and suggested her distant, unemployed cousin, Mark, could take over Tom's duties. Arthur readily agreed, believing anyone related to Chloe would be trustworthy. Within a week, Mark was living in the guest suite, officially Arthur's new aide, and unofficially Chloe's lover. The mansion, once Chloe's prison, became their secret playground. They lived lavishly, taking trips across the country using Arthur's accounts, always returning before he could notice the missing funds. They felt untouchable, shielded by the cloak of Arthur's blindness. One evening, Arthur announced he was traveling overseas for a month to attend several business meetings. "I'll take a friend with me to handle my navigation," he said calmly. "You stay here, relax, and make sure Mark is keeping the house in order." Chloe was ecstatic. A whole month of unsupervised luxury with Mark. The days that followed were a blur of indulgence. They maxed out credit cards, threw small parties, and barely left the comfort of the mansion, convinced their freedom was absolute. What Chloe didn't know was that Arthur's trip had nothing to do with business. The incident with Tom had planted a seed of doubt in Arthur's mind. The next morning, Chloe and Mark came down for breakfast, cautiously composed. The tension was thick, but they were sure their secret was safe. Arthur was already sitting at the massive mahogany table, dressed impeccably. His dark glasses were perched on his face. In his hands, he held a financial paper, which he seemed to be examining closely. As they sat, Arthur slowly reached up, gripping the frames of his dark glasses. He drew them off, placing them gently on the table. Chloe gasped. Mark dropped his coffee mug. Arthur's eyes were clear, sharp, and focused, directly on them. The kindness they remembered was gone, replaced by a cold, surgical clarity. Good morning, Chloe, Arthur said, his voice calm, yet devastatingly loud. I hope you and Mark enjoyed your month of freedom and last night's activities. You both seemed comfortable. Chloe could not breathe. Arthur, your eyes. The surgery was successful, he interrupted. I regained my sight a few weeks ago. I kept the glasses on because Tom's firing alerted me to your character. I needed to know the true extent of your betrayal. He picked up an envelope from beside his plate. This is a severance package for your services, he said, pushing it toward Mark. Get out of my house immediately. Mark scrambled to grab the envelope. Arthur then turned to Chloe, his expression unyielding. I loved you, Chloe. I loved the woman I thought you were. My disability didn't define my worth, but your greed does. Inside this second envelope, he pushed a thick manila folder toward her, are the divorce papers. They are filed, final, and executed. I did the compassionate thing and bought you a small downtown apartment. The deed is yours. Take it, take your clothes, and leave. You have 1 hour. He then stood up, leaving the two of them stunned and silent at the breakfast table. Chloe took the apartment and took Mark. They married 2 weeks later. The high of their illicit affair vanished instantly. Mark, who had been charming when living off Arthur's fortune, was useless and lazy. He refused to work, relying on the dwindling cash Chloe had managed to take. When she suggested he get a job, he grew abusive, yelling and eventually hitting her. Soon, the apartment was all they had. The luxury was gone, the passion replaced by hostility and poverty. Chloe, whose highest education was a high school degree, had to take a grueling factory job just to pay the bills and keep Mark fed. She remembered Arthur, his true kindness, his generosity, the respect he showed even when she hated him. She realized too late that she had traded a life of comfort, respect, and enduring love for a few brief months of stolen passion and a lifetime of regret and bitterness. She was now trapped, truly sightless in her own self-made prison, bound to the man who had only ever been a charming parasite. The wealthy, kind blind man had seen her true character far clearer than she had ever seen her own future.